While we have been perfectly conditioned to want only what we have, and to have only what we want, and are, therefore, always happy, the uncivilized ancients were prey to destructive emotions, such as ambition, hate, and love, which of course always led to violence, which in turn naturally led only to more violence, and senility, while we remain at the prime metabolic age of 35 to ensure a maximum level of useful consumption until painless death from chemostimulation between the ages of 80 and 90, the people of the past lacked the knowledge of how to stay young, even though they apparently valued youth so highly that they actually indulged in superstitious self-mutilation. As seminarians who will one day take your places in synthoculture stability centers, you must face these histobunk facts, unpleasant and even revolting as they sometimes are. Eating the actual flesh of animals, and even filthy things from the ground, and sometimes refusing to engage with more than one individual of the opposite sex, and even collecting into groups called families, a pervasively immoral concept of pre-civilized times. Yes, thoroughly disgusting examples of complete sexual perversion, as you can see.
Did the primitive females actually...
Yes. Primitive females gave viviparous birth to young.
Like animals?
Yes, physiologically, exactly like animals. I understand your reactions. Perhaps we should take a brief soma break. Naturally, none of what you have seen would be shown to betas or gammas, much less to deltas like these. But each of you is an alpha. You weren't mass-produced in computer-cloned Bakhanovsky batches. And you are all supremely happy, supremely content. But then, that is truly the perfection of our civilization. Everyone is adjusted. Everyone has been conditioned to want to do the work he has to do. And thus, everyone is perfectly happy, perfectly content. Alphas like you, betas, gammas, deltas like these, or even epsilons. Are you happy?
Happiness for all is happiness for each.
Are you glad to be deltas?
Deltas all have lots of fun. Deltas get to play and run.
Very good. But do you wish you had been incubated as alphas?
No.
Excellent. That's all.
So what if I told you the government has your baby's DNA? Newborns are routinely screened for a series of genetic diseases, and in some states, that DNA is stored even without your consent.
Big breaking news from the U.S. Supreme Court, just breaking this morning, in fact, and this is the top headline on Drudge this morning. Drudge says, ruled, take their DNA. The U.S. Supreme Court has issued a ruling that allows police across the country to take your DNA when they arrest you, to swab your DNA involuntarily on your part. They just take it from you essentially by force.
First on Focus at 4, outrage over the weekend roadblocks in St. Clair County. A research firm was collecting DNA samples as part of a National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration funded study aimed at reducing impaired driving. And it paid off-duty deputies to assist with the roadblock. Now, Focus at 4's Candace Sweat is here. And Candace, we want to be clear. Residents were not forced to give these samples. It was voluntary.
Right, it was voluntary. Anybody who stopped through one of the 4 roadblocks in St. Clair County was asked if they were willing to give DNA samples. Now, these samples were taken through saliva, blood samples, and participants actually got money in return for that. Now, a question that has a lot of people on social media on edge is, what exactly were these DNA samples being used for?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Ragland.
And I'm Dana Tyler. Since the test-taking scandal broke wide open on Long Island, lawmakers have been working on cutting-edge ways to combat identity theft.
Tonight, we get a first look at an ID proposal that will be presented in Albany tomorrow and could soon be implemented at a high school near you. CBS 2's Jennifer McLogan has the exclusive sneak peek.
Inside the Applied DNA Sciences Lab at Stony Brook University, researchers are hard at work inventing and perfecting a system that can prevent cheating on SAT and ACT exams.
A novel system that's absolutely unbreakable for securing the identity of a student taking the SAT exam.